Hi, Ian. Hi, Janet. Well, thank you ever so much for joining us today and sharing your experience with other customers. I'd love to hear about your project. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, basically, my wife's been hassling me to get a garden room come orangery or whatever on the back of our house for a long time, and I vigorously fought it off. But eventually, I succumbed.
I wore him down.
And so what we've got is we've got quite a large garden room at the back of the house, which is south facing, with bifold doors, so we can open the doors and look down the garden, sort of thing. But because we've got internal rooms within it, we wanted as much light in here as possible. So we fitted the largest lantern roof we could find to make sure we could get light in here, which would then transmit into the main rooms. We're very pleased with it, aren't we?
Extremely pleased. However, we realised how very hot it gets in here, to the point that it became almost unbearable, and we decided we really needed to do something about the lantern roof.
Yeah, and Janet, did you have any other concerns besides the heat?
It was very bright in here, so watching television sometimes was a bit difficult, but the main reason for the lantern, for the blind, was actually for the heat.
Lovely. What options did you look at?
We didn't look at too many, to be fair. We looked around one or two and looked at websites of different people doing the same business that you did. But then we spoke to you, and you were very proactive in coming back to us and feeding us information. So we just got a nicer feeling with you. So we sort of progressed it. And to be honest, we're pleased we did.
Yeah, we're exceptionally pleased with the end result.
Oh, lovely, lovely. So, the end result, then, you mentioned heat and brightness. Has it done the job?
It certainly has made a difference. It still gets warm in here, but certainly not to the extent that it did prior to having the blind fitted. It has helped with the light as well.
Yeah, I mean, it helps because you can see behind us, we've got a large screen TV sat on the wall there. And there are some reflections. It's not too bad at times, but it's certainly much improved with the blinds fitted. That does help. But the big thing is the heat. We've got the fabric we use is a reflective one, and as far as we can tell, it does work. I mean, since we've had it, we've had no real complaints at all.
Yeah, and as we're getting towards it's now October. We've had a couple of cold days. Have you noticed the difference in terms of keeping the heat in when the blind's closed?
Surprisingly, yes. I'd had the blind closed one day, and in the evening I opened it, and there was a real draft came down. So I was very surprised how much heat it had obviously kept in and the cold out. So yeah, it was really good, that.
Yeah, and that suits you very well.
It suits me because I don't like the cold.
So it's success both ways, both the heat reflection and the heat retention. It works well.
And I remember Chris saying that clients had mentioned that they don't get flies anymore, and it certainly seems to have stopped the flies who were settling in the top of the window. So from that point of view, that's a success too.
Oh, lovely. It's, the poor insects getting stuck there. They don't want to be there. They want to be in the garden.
Well, they were generally either there or all over the floor in the morning. So, that's been a real bonus.
Lovely. And the installation process, you've got a twin Athena with a screen fabric, a light colored screen fabric, which is a big blind. How did you find the installation process?
The installing of it, we had
Martin and his son
came, and they were brilliant. They were first rate, very clean, very efficient. They knew exactly what they were doing, obviously. And we can't complain.
No, they've made a super job of it. It's the surround is hardly noticeable. It's not something that you think, oh gosh, what's that? It actually molds into the room. So really, we're very pleased with it.
It's very inobtrusive, isn't it? Very inobtrusive fitting. And with the lantern we fitted was a bit big. It was a bit big for a single Athena, so we had a twin Athena, And the fact that they effectively fitted two blinds at the same time, one at each end. And it works brilliantly. And in hindsight, it was a mistake that actually worked in our favour by having the twin Athena rather than the single Athena, which is probably what we would have done had the length of the lantern been about 6 inches shorter. So that was a bonus, wasn't it?
It was, yes. So we can either have them both closed or one closed or half closed. So it really is very versatile from that point of view, and we'd recommend to.
It helps with following the sun, because as we say, we're south facing, the lantern is east-west. So the sun rises at one end of the room and it goes down at the other end of the room, and we can track the blinds across. So it really does work well, that does. One thing I would recommend to anybody that's listening to this is, if you're thinking you may need blinds at some point and you're having a lantern room fitted, talk to somebody like yourselves at WindowTreat first, just so you get all the options in place before you commit to the lantern roof. It's easier to change the size of the lantern roof than before rather than afterwards.
Well, if you're thinking in terms of wanting only one blind, certainly.
Yeah, but we'd recommend the two. In hindsight, it was a mistake on our part that's worked well for us.
Yeah.
And we'd definitely agree with that, wouldn't we?
Yeah, well, I'm delighted, and you deserve it. And the $1 million question is: would you recommend WindowTreat to friends and family?
Certainly, yes, and certainly our friends have been very impressed by them and have asked where we've got them from. So yes, we've recommended them already.
Yeah, yes, we quite enjoyed showing it off to them.
Yes.
when friends have appeared, and they've been suitably impressed, haven't they?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not saying any of our friends, the particular ones who have seen it, have got lantern roofs that they need them for, but we'll certainly pass that message on. We'd recommend WindowTreat, certainly.
That's music to my ears.